Hello everyone, it's Jen from Old Tinkerer Studio. Welcome to the 6th tutorial of the UI and Game Art for Beginners series. In this tutorial we will be learning how to make 2D trees in Adobe Illustrator. Create a new document, make it 1920 pixels wide and 1080 pixels in height. Use the rectangle tool, which is M on your keyboard, and draw out a rectangle the same size as the artboard. Remove the border, and let's fill the rectangle with a light gray. I'm using F7, F7, F7. Open the Layers panel, rename Layer 1 as Background, and lock the layer. Create a new layer above the background, name it Tree 1. Select the Ellipse tool, which is L on your keyboard, and click once on the artboard. We want to make an ellipse that is 300 pixels wide and 300 pixels high. Then fill the ellipse with a green color. I'm going to use 85AA00. Make a copy of the ellipse, Control C, and paste it in front, Control F. Then use the rectangle tool, which is M on your keyboard, and place a rectangle over the left half of the ellipse. Now select both the rectangle and the ellipse and open your Pathfinder tool. And we want to select minus front, which is the second icon under the Shapes mode. And change the right side of the ellipse, this half ellipse, to a darker green. I'm going to use 6B8400. Then select all of the ellipses and group them together. Object, Group. Select the rectangle tool, M on your keyboard, and click on the artboard. Make a rectangle that is 50 pixels wide and 500 pixels high. Then we're going to fill this rectangle with a brown color. I am using A87000. Now make a copy of the rectangle, Control C, and paste it in front, Control F. Then use your rectangle tool and make a rectangle and place it over the left side of this rectangle. Select both rectangles. Open up your Pathfinder tool and select minus front. Then change the right half of this trunk into a darker brown. I am using 7A4E00. Select both rectangles and group them together. Object, Group. Then align these with the ellipses. Then we need to place them behind the ellipses. So right click, go to Arrange, Send Backward. And there's our first tree. Open up your Layers panel and lock the Tree 1 layer. Make a new layer above it and call it Tree 2. Select the Ellipse tool, which is L on your keyboard, and click on the artboard. Make an ellipse that is 300 pixels wide and 300 pixels high. Fill it with a green color. I'm using 85AA00. Then select your anchor point tool, which you can get to by hitting Shift C, and click on the very top anchor point. Now use your direct selection tool, which is A on your keyboard. Make sure that you have your top anchor point selected, and use the Shift and up arrow key to move the anchor point up by 100 pixels. You can do this by hitting your up arrow key 10 times. Now go back to your direct selection tool, which is V on the keyboard. Make sure you have your ellipse selected, make a copy, Control C, and paste it in front, Control F. Now use your rectangle tool, which is M on the keyboard, and draw out a rectangle over the left half of the ellipse. Then select the rectangle and the ellipse and open up the Pathfinder tool and select minus front. And we want to change the right side of this ellipse to a darker green. I am using 6B8400. Then select both sides of the ellipse and group them together. Object, Group. Use the rectangle tool, which is M on your keyboard, and make a rectangle that is 50 pixels wide and 250 pixels high. And we're going to fill this rectangle with a brown color. I'm using A87000. Then make a copy of the rectangle, Control C, paste it in front, Control F. Then use your rectangle tool and make a rectangle and place it over the left hand side of this rectangle. Then select both rectangles, open up your Pathfinder tool, and select minus front. Then we're going to make the right side a little bit darker brown. I'm using 7A4E00. And select both of these rectangles and group them together. Object, Group. Then align this under the ellipses. And we need to send it to the back. So right click on it, go to Arrange, Send Backward. And there is our second tree. Lock Tree 2 layer. Make a new layer above it and name it Tree 3. Select the ellipse tool, which is L on your keyboard, and click once on your artboard. Make an ellipse that is 500 pixels wide and 500 pixels high. Then fill the ellipse with a green color. I'm using 85AA00. Select the rounded rectangle tool, which is under your ellipse tool, and click once on the artboard. Make the width 72 pixels, the height 540 pixels, and the corner radius 180 pixels. Then align the rounded rectangle to the horizontal and vertical center of the ellipse. Now select the Rotate tool, which you can get to by R on your keyboard, and holding down the Alt key, click once on the center of the rounded rectangle. Change the angle to 10 degrees and then hit Copy. Now we need to duplicate the rounded rectangle until the entire ellipse is covered. You can do this simply by hitting Control D. Now select all of these sections of the tree, open up your Pathfinder tool, and we want to choose Unite, which is the first icon under the shape modes. Make a copy of the ellipse, Control C, and paste it in front, Control F. Go to your rectangle tool, which is M on your keyboard, and place a rectangle over the left hand side of the ellipse. Then select the ellipse and the rectangle. Open up your Pathfinder tool and select minus front. Then we need to change the right hand side to a darker green. I am using 6B8400. Then select all of the ellipse parts and group them together. Object, Group. Now use the rectangle tool, which is M on your keyboard, and make a rectangle that is 75 pixels wide and 250 pixels high. Then fill the rectangle with a brown color. I'm using A87000. Make a copy of the rectangle, Control C, paste it in front, Control F. Then make another rectangle and place it over the left half of this smaller rectangle. Then select both rectangles, open up your Pathfinder tool, and select minus front. And then make this right hand side a darker brown. I am using 7A4E00. And select both of the rectangles and group them together. Object, Group. Then align these under the ellipses of the tree and send them backwards. Right click on them, go to Arrange, Send Backward. And there's our third tree. Now lock the Tree 3 layer, make a new layer above it, and name it Tree 4. Now select the Star tool, which is under your Rectangle tool. Click once on the artboard. Make radius 1 300 pixels, radius 2 150 pixels, and the points 3. Fill the triangle with a green color. I am using 85AA00. Then make a copy of the triangle with Control C, paste it in front, Control F. Then use your Shift and up arrow key and move the copied triangle up. Place it at about 75% of the way up the original triangle. Then resize this triangle so it is 360 pixels wide, 311.769 pixels high. Then make a copy of this triangle, Control C, paste it in front, Control F, and again use Shift and your up arrow key to move this up about 75% of the way from the middle triangle. Then resize this triangle so it is 250 pixels wide and 216.506 pixels high. Now select all three of the triangles, open up your Pathfinder tool, and choose Unite. Make a copy of the triangles, Control C, paste them in front, Control F. Then use your rectangle tool, which is M on your keyboard, and place a rectangle over the left hand side of these triangles. Then select the rectangle and the triangles, open up your Pathfinder tool, and choose minus front. Then we need to make the right side of these triangles a darker green. I am using 6B 8400. Then select all the triangles and group them together. Object, Group. Now use the rectangle tool, which is M on your keyboard, and make a rectangle that is 75 pixels wide and 150 pixels high. Then fill the rectangle with a brown color. I'm using A87000. Make a copy of the rectangle, Control C, paste it in front, Control F. Then make another rectangle and place it over the left half of this rectangle. Select both rectangles and open up the Pathfinder tool and select minus front. Then we need to make the right half a darker brown. I am using 7A4E00. Then select both of the rectangles and go to Object, Group, and move them under the triangles. Then we need to send it to the back, so right click on them, go to Arrange, Send Backward. And there you have your fourth tree. I hope you found this useful. Have a good day.